Hi Gemini, welcome to your eclipse reading. This is going to be a special reading to see what is coming up for you during this eclipse season. We're having a partial solar eclipse on the 25th of October. That's going to be roughly at around 2 degrees of Scorpio. Doesn't impact you in any kind of way, unless of course you have planets in Scorpio or rising sign or something going on Scorpio related. But this is conjunct planet Venus, the goddess Venus. So there's a lot of themes with this eclipse that have to do with Venusian things, like specifically the Taurus archetype side of Venus that has to do with values, how we value ourselves, how we value the things around us, the beauty we see in things, relationships with others, the value that those people have in our life, that sort of thing. Okay, creativity, the things we find beautiful or valuable to us. So there could be something like that popping up for the signs. But let's see what's going on for you specifically. So give us some messages for Gemini, please. What can they expect during this eclipse? What themes do they deal with? You've got the South Node, life's debts. Interesting. Some kind of a past situation might be repeating itself during this time, Gemini. Okay. If it's not that, the South Node also represents the things that we rely upon, the things we know. It's a bit like the comfort zone. It's all the things we've done repetitively that we know. It's become a pattern, a karma of some sort. Certain ties to the past or certain ties to things or people that played some sort of a role in our lives. So that theme might be showing up for you here. Okay, so one fell out. You have the 4th house, roots. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, dear Gemini, the place of origin for you seems to be rather important during this time. Okay. The family you come from, the origin you come from, not necessarily family, but could be something in your lineage that is popping up for you right now. Perhaps you find out something about your past or about your family or the roots, where you come from. Something is changing perhaps in this area of your home, your stability, your roots. There's a message coming through, but I'm trying to put it into words because sometimes in channeling it's like it comes up all disjointed and it takes me a minute. There's something quite deep here is what I want to say. There's something deep within you that is of essence, or there's a theme here showing up about your innermost being that is somehow tied up to your roots or where you come from. Past lives, possibly, if you are into that sort of thing. Not everybody is. There's a tie. It's what I'm getting is like a visual of a red string being tied up to something else, but I can't see what's on the other end. Okay, it's like there's something tied up with a red string that's attached to 2 points, but I can't actually see what the points are. I hope that makes sense. There's some sort of a tie here, a strong root or a strong ancestral thing, pattern, habit. you know, this is also the talents you inherit from where you're from. Okay, you might have inherited certain things, whether there are talents, whether there are bad things, good things, because we inherit both from where we come from. But this is a very interesting one because this goes back in time a very, very, very long time. It's not something recent like, you know, you're born into a family and that's all the pattern that's being played out. It's a pattern that's being played out through generations. Okay, Gemini. I know that sounds kind of woo-woo, but hopefully it makes sense to someone. There's a strong tie here with your roots, your origin. And there's something surrounding this area of your life that is being triggered during these eclipses, okay? Either you sever ties with something, you know, within your family of origin, your home, whatever. You know, take it as it resonates. You will know your situation. So what else for Gemini, please? You've got Grand Trine, blessings. Oh, interesting. Okay. So we'll see more about what this blessing is, because I will do some tarot too to kind of complement the story of these cards. But what I'm getting here very strongly, some of you are inheriting something. Okay, there could be some sort of a blessing, not necessarily like in a material sense, but your past comes with some sort of a blessing, or if it's not the past, again, where you come from, your line, your origin, your roots has some sort of a blessing in it. And I feel like during this eclipse for you, Gemini, you're going to discover what that is. Okay? There's a very strong tie here to something. For some of you, it could be the magic of the place you come from, the benefits of the place you come from, like in a sense of, let's say you're born in a specific town, a specific country, a specific culture. There's something about that that is a blessing to you, or you're discovering some sort of a blessing within that. Because roots and origin means very different things. You know, it's a wide range of connotations and archetypes and, you know, all of that. But there's something here within where you come from. It has some sort of a blessing that you may not realize right now, or perhaps there's some negative ties to where you come from. You're seeing it as negative, but inherent in that, there's some sort of a blessing. Okay. And again, it does seem like some of you during this eclipse will have changes surrounding your home, your roots, your family. Family members coming in, departing. Perhaps you're changing the place of where you live, okay, on a more mundane level. For some of you, that might be the case. But we'll see further down what is this blessing that's coming to you, because there is something here that has to do with the past, with the things that you've inherited, that, you know, it's coming to the surface possibly during this time for you. So let's see, Gemini, what else we can get for you? What else does Gemini need to know? The Grand Trine is a configuration that shows multiple talents that are flowing together harmoniously. Okay. There's another configuration that shows talents, but those don't come as easy. But with the Grand Trine, there's something specific to you. There is something, a talent of yours that you do with ease, that is coming to you with ease, that is manifesting during this time. Or you're gaining knowledge about it. Or literally for some of you, you have some sort of a blessing coming to you. Perhaps from a family member, or you know, whatever structure you have there. So what else for Gemini, please? Okay, let me move these a bit. So Gemini, give me a minute to see what's going on here. A lot of water energy is coming through here, which is kind of similar to the fourth house, which is a water house. We also have the moon here. I'm getting the impression that there are choices here that either you need to make or you have made in the past that led to some, that's leading to some sort of a unfortunate heartbreak here. This moon. Now, the south node is one of the nodes of the moon here. So it's interesting. It has something to do with your emotional journey here through life, Gemini. The moon and the south node is where you're coming from emotionally. Okay, it's residue is what I'm hearing. Like some sort of an emotional residue here with the south node. It's like perhaps there are emotional things or fears or something you've been carrying around throughout your life. Okay. There you are, Gemini. You've got the Lovers here, which is your card. And it does sort of feel like either this is about some sort of a choice, especially with the Seven of Cups in reversed here. There's some confusion here about choices or something. It just sort of feels like you're either spoiled for choice or you feel overwhelmed by choices. And it feels like you're going from this Three of Cups to the Three of Swords and the Moon. I gotta clarify that Three of Swords. How is this a blessing? I mean, the Three of Swords is a blessing in disguise because some sort of a painful truth has come to the surface here, and that shows up with a blessing. So I'm going to assume that there's some painful event happening to you, Gemini. I mean, I hate to be negative, but I have to read the cards. Either this is some sort of a fearful abandonment kind of situation here. It may involve other people with this Three of Cups. It does sort of feel like you're somewhat perhaps isolated or something like that, or there is some sort of a painful emotional truth that's coming to the surface for you, and that's somehow a blessing in disguise. I will say that much. It's there's a lot of messages coming through here downloaded, but I'm trying to make sense of it. It does sort of feel like you have some sort of emotional debris, residue. That's what I heard the first time I looked at this. Like there's emotional debris coming through for you that you may need to look at. There's like painful things, painful emotional things that are coming to the surface. In regards to perhaps betrayal by someone here, because this Three of Cups shows up in your fourth house. It could be who you have in your home, whether this is a family, or an adopted family, or a family of choice, friends, whatever, okay? Because you could be living with, you know, you could have a home somewhere that is not with your family. You live with other people. There's some form of betrayal happening there that somehow is a blessing in disguise. That could be one scenario. But on a profound level, I must say your reading is quite interesting, Gemini. It's just, there's something emotional here showing up for you to look at, and it's quite unpleasant. It could be that you may need to face some sort of a fear of yours, okay? Because the moon shows up in the past here. The moon as an archetype does represent our past, because the moon is how you store your experiences, is how you relate emotionally to your experiences. And because it shows up with the south node here, it's like there are your past emotional experiences that are somehow coming to the surface here. And there's some sort of a blessing in disguise happening with this, because you realize some sort of a painful truth that is actually going to empower you, because you do have the Queen of Wands here. Okay, the Queen of Wands is also the Queen of Spirit. She has very, very strong, fiery, intuitive qualities about her. This queen knows, she just knows things, okay? The fire intuition is an intuition that is not like the moon intuition, okay? It's more watery, more subtle. The fire intuition is quite instinctual. It's like there's some sort of an instinct that's waking up within you throughout this painful experience. So I don't know what that is for you. Could be a relationship here falling apart, some sort of betrayal, some sort of, you know, whatever this is for you. But because the fourth house is here, it does have to do with your roots and where you come from, and the emotional baggage and debris you're carrying around with you. So that's what I would say. But throughout this experience, you're actually gaining something very, very valuable. You're also gaining confidence with this Queen of Wands, okay? As a blessing ways coming through, you're actually gaining confidence. You're actually understanding what's good for you. You're understanding who you are, okay? You also have the Lovers here, which again to me kind of indicates some sort of a choice here. I feel like you're going to be presented with some sort of a choice that's going to be beneficial to you. But, you know, the Seven of Cups in reversed, I do feel like you're somewhat overwhelmed by something here. The Seven of Cups in reverse could be an indication of being lost in fantasies, losing touch with reality. Okay, so you might need to ground yourself a little bit in reality, because the Seven of Cups in reverse could talk about possibilities, but these are somewhat unrealistic possibilities. And there's a danger here with getting lost in fantasies. It could also be an indication of overindulgence and too much pleasure with this Three of Cups. Okay. I'm going to need some further clarification, because it's rather interesting. There's a lot of different things happening here at the same time. But one thing's for sure, you're going to deal with something quite emotional. The emotional experiences of the past are coming through to the surface. So let's see, what is this Three of Swords here for you? Some sort of a painful truth is coming through the surface that may be hard to deal with, but in the long run is going to be beneficial for you. I do feel like there's some sort of a talent of yours with this Queen of Wands here. I will check that out to see what else is going on. Why is the Three of Swords here? The Two of Pentacles. Again, the idea of choice is coming through here again for you, Gemini. It's more of a sense of, I don't know, being stuck between a rock and a hard place. It's almost like you're trying to navigate something, rough seas, okay? Navigating something in the dark, navigating something with only half the story. I do strongly believe that you're trying to figure something out here about your past, about your emotional nature, about why you're always hurt. I mean, it might not even be that there's a specific event that's happening that's making you sad. This could also be very much something that you know, it's a sense of pain and betrayal that you carry around for years and years. And with this Two of Pentacles, it's like there's something quite out of balance here. Perhaps your emotions, perhaps your moods are coming into question here. You know, you feel quite moody, or you may try to navigate a situation where you don't have all the facts, or you may try to balance out a situation where it's just not in your power to do so at this point. But the funny thing is, you know, I do feel like the blessing that's coming with this is like you're learning a specific skill of someone who has to navigate the world without having too much information, to rely on your intuition more. It's almost like you're playing some sort of a role, Gemini, which is very interesting that that's coming through. It's like you're trying to play a role here where you're trying to figure out some other stuff bubbling to the surface. It's like you're trying to navigate one aspect of you with another. Because I'm seeing here like a multitude of facets of you, Gemini, not like anyone else. I mean, you could have other people involved into this story. You know, if this is a love situation, or, you know, whomever you're dealing with, and take that if it resonates. But I feel like you're trying to navigate a multitude of facets of yourself. You're trying to figure something out in the dark. You're trying to deal with your own emotional baggage. You're trying to navigate between playing a role and, you know, dealing with other things. It's quite a complex situation, but there is a talent here that is coming from this situation for you. Do you know what I'm getting very strongly? That you are learning somehow to balance your own emotion. You're trying to balance, you're learning how to navigate this emotional baggage you have. Or you're attempting to anyway. Because the Two of Pentacles is not a stable energy. There's instability here. So for some of you Geminis, your emotional nature is quite unstable at this point during the eclipse. I mean, you know, because the fourth house comes up here and the moon, I feel like there's something happening when, you know, possibly in your environment that is triggering, you know, just a plethora of emotional flurries. You know, it's just they're coming out of nowhere, and there's emotional instability going on for you, Gemini. I feel like this eclipse is triggering emotional instability, just to put it plain and simple. And in the midst of all of this, it feels like you're trying to find yourself. You're trying to find out who you really are, because, you know, up until this point, I feel like you're, because of all this emotional baggage you're carrying around, it just sort of feels like you're someone else, or you're playing a role of some sort. And you're trying to find out who you really are. I want to know a bit about this Queen of Wands, and then I'll leave it at that, because this is quite a complex reading, Gemini, I must admit. Tell me about this Queen of Wands. What is this blessing that's coming to Gemini? The Eight of Pentacles. I do feel like you're getting good at something. Because I got that impression before with this Queen of Wands and the blessings. I do feel like strongly, Gemini, you are getting really good at something here. Something that has to do with this Queen of Wands. I mean, this could be you. It could be someone else that's showing up in your life, a fire sign. But I feel like this is something you. I feel like you're working on yourself through these painful, weird emotional moods that you're going through during this eclipse. But you are learning to navigate them, and you're learning to refine your character. Okay, it's the best way to put it. To refine something about yourself. You know, the Queen of Wands is also confidence. I feel like you're working on your confidence, and I feel like you've probably undertaken some kind of a journey here of emotional healing or emotional unburying, you know, traumas and stuff. And it's like you're through that you're refining your character, you're refining your confidence, you're shedding, you know, things that aren't yours, the things that you've been carrying around from the past. You know, that's on a more profound level. For some of you, this has something to do with you putting yourself out there in terms of, I have a specific skill. I'm going to put myself out there, you know, to be recruited, to start working, to start creating something of my own. The Queen of Wands and the Eight of Pentacles is a creative force. It's a creative energy. Somebody's being very creative here. So whether that's literally you're trying to be creative within your line of work, or you're being creative with the way you're handling your emotional situation, with the way you're handling how you navigate things. Okay. And of course, with the Seven of Cups in reverse, you may need to be careful of how to not fall into delusions and fantasies. Now, if this is a relationship showing up for some of you, just be aware of whomever you're dealing with. You're not seeing all the story about this person. So on a more mundane level, just be aware that you could have someone around that is trying to deceive you in some way. Okay, so just be careful with that. But overall, I feel like you are learning some tricks. Let's call them that. You're learning how to do things better. So that was your reading, Gemini. I wish you the best, and we'll speak soon. Bye.